This is my 1990 Mazda Miata that I originally bought for $1,000. I have resurrected this car from the dead, but it still has a lot of problems. Every single one of those problems that I solve is going to be done as cheaply as possible, and I'm going to be keeping track of every single dollar that I spend to see if it was worth it. I'm in too deep now. Welcome back to the budget build. The last time I swapped out the coilovers to see if it would help improve the ride quality, and it did. However, it still has some rattles and it still handles a little sloppy. I can tell you right now that the rattles did not go away. You can hear something's not quite right. So we're gonna see if we can tighten up the rest of that today. Today is gonna be dealing with bushings, ball joints, tie rod ends, and hopefully that's it. Hopefully I don't run into any other big problems. There's only one part that I have that is not going to fit quite in the budget build, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. Replacing the shocks and springs was a massive improvement for the drivability of this car, but it still has a lot of creaks and rattles, and I forgot that the tires are pretty old and cracked. Whoops. In fact, everything that's on this car that's made of rubber is old and cracked. This includes the control arm bushings, the boots around the ball joints, which probably means the ball joints as well, the power steering bellows, and a number of other things that we'll get to later. This means disassembling the entire suspension geometry and hoping that I remember enough about working on suspension to put it all back together. But that's not all. We're about to change the entire look of this car with one simple part. So the good thing about suspension is that we are still in the realm of things that I do know how to do when it comes to cars. Take the wheel off, take the brake off, and then it's just a couple extra bolts and you've got basically everything disassembled. The bad thing about suspension is math, and even worse, geometry. There are a lot of numbers and angles to consider when working on the suspension of your car, especially if you're going to be changing things. Camber, toe, caster angles can all significantly affect the way a car drives and handles. Now with all stock components, those adjustments are going to come down to just a couple of pieces. The tie rod ends and the control arm adjustment cam bolts. The lower control arm adjustment bolts are kind of the last step in fine-tuning all those adjustments and help to get your car not only driving straight, but also turning straight. Turning straight. Pulling out the control arms means I'm going to be resetting all of these numbers and completely ruining my alignment, but that's okay because I'm going to be changing some things anyway, so I'm going to have to recalculate everything and realign everything. Why? Because we're about to completely change the look of this car. One of the fastest and easiest ways to change the entire aesthetic of your car is with a fresh set of wheels. Instead of buying new tires for my stock rims, which are pretty beat up and tattered, I decided to upgrade to something a little more beefy, a little more flush fit, and that might improve the look a little bit. To some people, I know that improving your looks is subjective and a lot of people like the stock look, but I'm not really a big fan of the daisy wheels. But new wheels are expensive, and so are new tires. You probably can't get away for less than $1,000 these days, even if you go with the cheapest eBay rims and wrap them in some ling longs.
Now, I've heard some off-brand tires. I ain't never heard no ling longs.
So I hopped back on Marketplace, found a listing for a set of wheels that were specifically on a Miata that I tried to lowball in the past, and came home with a nice set of wheels and tires that are way better than the ones I had and that have plenty of tread left over and should last me at least enough until I'm ready to actually take this car on some trips. He was a really nice guy too. Sorry for trying to lowball you for your car. It's just Marketplace, you know how it goes. Hey. 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 So these are called the Evo 1 from FFD Motorsport. They are the anthracite color. And from what I can tell, this was a pretty small company that I don't even know if they're in business anymore because their website's not active anymore and their Facebook hasn't seen a post since 2020. Originally, to get your hands on these, you had to send them an email and get on a list for like a group buy, and then they would make a batch and send them out. They did have Amazon links for a short time, it looks like, but that didn't seem to gain much traction. Despite being so niche, everybody that's made a post about these seems to love them. Pretty decent weight, pretty decently balanced, pretty decent quality and strength for a really good price. Originally, these were running for about $150 per wheel, which nowadays is insane. You can't find a wheel for less than $200 at least. So I kind of feel like I stumbled on a gem here. People seem to love these wheels, and they're still in great shape because the guy had them plasti dipped the entire time he was using them, and then peeled it off when he went to sell them. So they're basically brand new underneath. The tires here are the Toyo R888. From what I can tell, these are a sort of entry-level track compliant tire. These are what you buy if you need to meet some kind of track or racing specifications, but don't want to cough up a bunch of extra money for better tires. Not that these are bad, but there's a lot better options, and these are just kind of like the cheap sort of entry level. I think they're road legal. I guess we'll find out. About to start raining here, and these are probably not going to do very well. So, car's not waterproof anyway. So, probably not going to be taking this car out in the rain anytime soon. I ended up paying $700 in total for this setup, which I feel like is pretty good. That means if I had bought these wheels brand new, I paid about $100 for the tires. Kind of makes sense. They're kind of at the end of their life, but they're still in way better shape than the tires that I had. And then when I do buy new tires, I still have the nice new wheels that I'm putting the tires on, and I think I'm gonna like that look a lot better. So I'm happy with that. These wheels come with a problem though. The stock wheels are 14x6 with a plus 45 millimeter offset. These wheels are an inch larger, 2 inches wider, and they have a very aggressive offset for the Miata at plus 20 millimeters. If you don't know about offset, the lower the number, the further it sticks out. There's a little more math involved with like backspacing and wheel width, but that's basically it. A 25 millimeter difference is about an inch, which means between that and the extra width, these wheels are going to stick out almost 1.5 inches to 2 inches from the stock fitment, which means the tolerances for my suspension just got way tighter, because with a wheel that fits this tightly in the wheel wells and on a lowered suspension setup, you have to be really careful because any compression could lead to rubbing, scraping, or even worse, tearing a sidewall, which if I tear a sidewall, I'm going to have to change my channel name and rebrand. So I can't be doing that. So in order to make these work, this brings me back around to the control arm adjustments. I'm gonna need some camber. Now wait, hold on. Wait, now calm down. I know what you're thinking. I'm not gonna need that much camber, but I am gonna need more than the stock geometry is gonna allow. So let's go through the list of parts I'll be installing to hopefully get rid of the rest of the rattles and to help fit my new big wheels in this tiny car. For the control arms on the Miata, a new set of bushings all the way around could run you up to $600 to $700 for replacement rubber. That's almost as much as I paid for this whole car. Well, that doesn't make much sense. So what do you do instead? You can get a set of polyurethane bushings like I did for way cheaper with a trade-off. This is just like the coilovers, where going cheaper is probably going to take away from your ride quality. Polyurethane bushings do that too, but the idea is that they help improve responsiveness and cost a lot less. My new coilovers are already pretty stiff, so sacrificing a little more ride quality is, for me, not that big a deal. For you, if you want to keep your ride quality, bushings aren't going to make the biggest impact, but they are going to make an impact. It's one of those things where if you don't have to do it, don't do it. But if you are at the point where you've built your car up and you just need that little bit of extra responsiveness, polyurethane might be your answer. You probably already know that if you're already building a track car, but for me, I'm just trying to find out if they are an affordable solution. I bought this kit from Whiteline. This is a front and rear kit that I got through 949 Racing Super Miata. Altogether was $220. Up front, we got new ball joints, new tie rod ends. Both the upper and the lower ball joints were completely blown out, so I have a sneaking suspicion that was probably the biggest rattles that I was hearing. I got new upper ball joints from Rock Auto for $14 a piece. I got new tie rod ends for $25 a piece. I got new rack and pinion bellows for $10 each. And then that leaves me with the one part on this car so far that is going to break the rules of the budget build, because there is not an affordable solution to this very specific problem that I have. Because to fit these wheels in here, I'm gonna need a sort of specialized part. Usually you can get a lower ball joint between $10 to $30 on Rock Auto, depending on what you can find on there, but I can't use those. Instead, I need a pair of extended lower ball joints. These are gonna push the bottom of the wheel out to give me a few extra degrees of camber, and that'll be exactly what I need to get these wheels to tuck up in here without messing everything up. According to the guy that I bought the wheels from, who had this same Miata, that's the only way these wheels are gonna fit. You can get a pair of these from Flying Miata for $130, or from 949 for $55 a piece, totaling out at $110. So in the spirit of trying to save as much money as possible, I went with those. Once it's all put back together, this should be another huge leap forward for the drivability of this car, and hopefully the last thing that I have to do as far as handling goes on this car, at least for a while. Anti-seize, who needs it? Now, I wouldn't recommend redoing your bushings if you don't have to. Pressing out the old rubber bushings is a lot of work. The rubber is 35 years old and pretty much melted into the control arms. I don't know how I didn't think of this right away, but if you're not planning on keeping your old bushings, you can just bore them out with a hole saw. In fact, it made it a lot easier to just cut everything out. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. We gotta also roll the fenders. This is gonna be tight. Oh, there's no better road to test this on. I think we did it. You hear that? I mean, okay. Okay, the interior is still rattling like crazy, but the suspension? I think it was the ball joints. I think the bushings are a bonus, but I think that the ball joints... I think the ball joints were the problem. Suspension's gonna make a little bit of noise no matter what, especially in a car like this. It's just, you know, that raw experience. It's not like a dangerous rattle anymore. I think we might have a winner. So I'm gonna call that another success, and one of the biggest successes I think I've had so far with this car. The rattles in the suspension are completely gone. Everything's tightened back up. Everything is fresh and new, and now I don't have to worry about the handling anymore. And the new wheels look fantastic. I like this fitment a lot. The camber is a little bit more than I think I would ideally want, but I still think it looks great. I think once I get this car polished up, I think the exterior is going to be looking really, really good. There are still some drivability issues. Obviously, this car needs to be aligned. I was just guessing when putting all these parts back together, and I got pretty close. It drives straight enough. So stay tuned for that. That's probably going to be coming up next. And I hope you stay tuned for the next episodes, because we got some big stuff coming up. Got a lot of body work coming up, got a lot of engine work coming up. I can hear that the clutch is going out, Fun stuff. Thank you for watching. Check another item off the list, save some money doing it, and that's the whole point of this, and that's the reason why we're here. See you guys in a few weeks.